What's up, guys? So today I am doing the fourth and final part of my Chinese Zodiac portion of the intro pack. After this, the intro pack is going to take on a couple other different things, hopefully closing out by the end of the year. But yeah, let's just get straight into this. So if you haven't seen the other three parts to just the Chinese Zodiac portion of the intro pack, I will sort of summarize the basics. So there are 4 animals that represent you in the Chinese Zodiac. Most people know about the first one, which is your outer animal. That is the one that represents the year you were born. The other 3 represent the month, day, and hour that you were born, with the day being the most difficult one to determine, since there are 12 months and 12 animals, 24 hours, 12 animals, so each animal gets 2 hours. So then you've got the month one is called your inner animal. You've then got the day, which is your true animal, and then the hour one, which is called your secret animal. And it is thought to be the truest representation of a person, but it's one that they hide from the rest of the world. They prevent anyone else from knowing about it, since this is determined by the smallest denominator, the hour in which you were born. And as I said, the Chinese Zodiac is based on astrology, so those 2-hour increments of time coincide with the position of the sun in the sky, not necessarily with time on your local clock. But for ease of understanding this, I've gone with time on the local clock. The reason they use position of sun in the sky is because if you were born during daylight savings time, which thankfully I was not, then you've actually got to sort of take it back to regular time zone time to figure it out, which could mean that if you were born at, say, 11:30 in the morning, you take that back to 10:30, you've actually gone back from being a dragon to being a snake, which is what I am. I was born at within the hour of 10 o'clock. I've been told basically it was around 10 o'clock that I was born. So, but the reason that the time from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is given to the snake is because that is the time, apparently, that snakes bask in the sun. So they all have a little explanation of like that as to why each animal is given its specific time. If you go with the even numbers, obviously odd numbers at either end, but if you go with the even numbers, starting at 12 midnight with the rat, which is the first in the Zodiac, you can then go 2 is the ox, 4 is the tiger, 6 is the rabbit. Is that correct? Something like that, and eventually you get around to like 10 o'clock. And yeah, so anyway, getting into some more specifics, the element given to the snake, the element that the snake naturally has, without taking into account what element a specific year has, is fire. I don't know if I've explained fire in any other ones before. In case I haven't, or in case you haven't seen the video where I do, fire is yang in character, which I believe to be the lighter side. Pretty sure yin is the shadowy side, like the black side. So yang in character is sort of you take on more of the positive attributes than the negative ones. I believe. That's not to say you don't have some of the negative sides of being fire, but if you happen to be, if your animal happens to be yin in character and you are then also fire, you'd sort of take on more of the negative sides as well. Fire is associated with summer, the south, the planet Mars, the colour red, which in Asia is associated with extreme luck, hot weather, daylight, and the vermilion bird, which is basically just a phoenix in the 4 symbols. Fire attributes are considered to be, they are dynamic, they have strength and persistence. However, it's also connected to restlessness, and I couldn't associate with any of this anymore if I tried. The fire element provides warmth, enthusiasm, and creativity. However, an excess of it can bring aggression, impatience, and impulsive behavior. And finally, we have something telling me that I'm impatient, because everything else has told me that I am patient, and I've always questioned it. So finally, someone telling me the truth. And this being my most accurate representation of who I really am at my core is just, I'm going to relate to like 95% of this easily. In the same way, fire provides heat and warmth, however, an excess of it can also burn. So while I can be pleasant and enjoyable to get along with, right, it says creativity is one of the things that it provides, and I want to work in a creative industry, but an excess of it can bring aggression, impatience, and impulsive behavior. I tend to do things that I really, like, if I'm particularly passionate about something, I tend to do things without really thinking through it logically, which goes against every other thing that I try to be. I try to be as logical as possible and figure things out as logically as possible. But if my heart gets involved and I start becoming really passionate about something, I do stupid shit. So impulsive behavior, I can 100% agree with. Impatience, I don't like waiting for things, I guess. Like, I can be particularly patient with, say, a customer at work, right? That's particularly, been a bit difficult. But if, you get a couple of those throughout the day and you're patient with each of them individually, and then at the end of the day, I just am so filled with the rage of God that I need to let it out in some way. And I think that's why I took up a creative field, because I can just sort of push all my stress into that, contain it in this little bubble, and then hopefully one day monetize it. In Chinese medicine, fire is associated with the negative emotions of hate and the positive emotion of joy. As I said, I'm pretty sure yang is the lighter side. I don't really hate people too much, at least not in the truest sense of the word. I can't remember who said it. Something in the back of my brain is telling me Winston Churchill. Don't quote me on that though. But there's this quote that I love where it's like, at the point where you truly hate your enemy, you also love them, because in order to properly hate someone, you have to disagree with their every decision and choice and whatnot. Like, you have to know them as well as you know yourself, and then it's at that point that you can also rationalize from their perspective why they're doing said things, which allows you understanding and therefore can bring you closer to actually sympathizing with them, which, when that's done in a film, it gets praised for having a very strong villain. In the 2 cycles of, and I really hope I'm saying it correctly, Wu Jing, In the overcoming cycle, water overcomes fire, as nothing will put out fire as quickly as water, and fire overcomes metal, as it can only be melted and forged by flame or heat. In the generating cycle, fire engenders wood engenders fire, as fire is fueled by rubbing two pieces of wood together, and it must also be fueled by burning wood. And it begets earth, as fire reduces everything to ashes, which become part of the earth again. The lucky numbers for fire are 2, 8, and 9, which is kind of cool, I guess. 2 is sort of like the duality of everything in nature, and 9 is sort of, you know, like 9's one of the square numbers. 8 is a cube of 2. Just coming up with things that have to do with maths there. Mainly because I have OCD and I like things to be ordered in a specific way. And having things even, the number 2, helps with that. And so if you then put things in like a square, that is then evenly distributed, or in a cube, and you get the idea. The lucky flowers are the orchid and the cactus, which is ironic. I have a couple of stories to do with cactuses. Now that I'm remembering those, I need to write them down. As I've already said, summer is its season. The colours associated with it are red, yellow, and black, which is why I've used those colours in the thumbnail. And again, I also have a couple of stories about snakes, particularly black ones with red bellies. And its Western relative is Taurus, the 4th lunar month, which we can get into a little bit later. I'll come back to talking about Taurus. But since Taurus is also a bull, it's kind of ironic because the second trine, of which the snake is a part, it also consists of the rooster, which I also have a, I can't remember what level it is. I'm pretty sure that was my month one. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while. Was it? It was indeed. Was my month one. But it also consists of the ox, which obviously the ox, Taurus is the bull, they're similar animals. Those 3 signs are said to possess endurance and application, with slower accumulation of energy, meticulous at planning, but tending to hold fixed opinions. This is correct. So, possessing endurance and application, I've been working on my little fictional universe and not actually published anything or created anything tangible with it, but I've been planning it since about 2005, so the last 14 years of my life have involved creating stories that exist within this universe and how they all connect to each other, and then how each major event in each story affects the rest of the world that it's in or not. So yeah, a lot of endurance, application, and slow accumulation of energy. I keep trying to pronounce that word a different way, I don't know why. Also, you know, meticulous at planning. The tending to hold fixed opinions part, I don't know, that can come across as arrogance, I think. I get told that I'm arrogant quite a bit, actually. But I only try to hold a fixed opinion if I myself have actually done research into the topic. Otherwise, I'm fairly open to having my opinions proved wrong. if I don't really know anything about a particular subject, I don't really try and hold a strong opinion about it. And so therefore, if someone's able to come along and sort of educate me, I guess, and point out the logic in their side of the argument, I'm quite happy to be proven wrong. But if I have actually done the research myself, I will hold quite a fixed opinion. The 3 in the second trine are said to be intelligent, hardworking, modest, industrious, loyal, philosophical, patient. Now it's just second guessing itself. First I was impatient, now patient again. Good-hearted and morally upright, but can also be self-righteous, egotistical, vain, judgmental, narrow-minded, and petty. And I'm just going to agree with it all. That is all 100% correct, basically. Like I just finished saying, I try to be knowledgeable about a subject before I try and argue against it. At work, I try and do the best of my ability, sort of thing. Like, I'm there to work, so I'm not going to stand around socializing. And it sort of gets on my nerve when people are just standing there doing nothing while I'm in the middle of my own little rush. And it's like, hey guys, you're not doing anything, can you come help? I despite wanting to work in a creative field, I don't want to do that for fame or money or anything. I'm aware that those are things that could potentially come my way, but I want to work in that industry because that is what I want to do. So I'm not after material gain there. It's more just following my passion, I guess. Industrious. Like I said, I've spent the last 14 years of my life building a fictional universe. What more do you want? Loyal. My best friend is turning 21 this year. We've been friends for the last 6 years. I think it's coming up to 7 years soon. And that we've throughout that time, there have been times where she sort of said, hey, I'm gonna sort of cut off communication with you for a little bit just to see if I can have this relationship work. And so I never know, like, if and when that's gonna happen. And then if and when it does happen, I never know if I'm ever going to actually be able to talk to her again. But whenever she has come back, I've always been there to sort of catch her when she falls, sort of thing, I guess. So I think that also includes the good-heartedness part that was in that. And so, yeah, you kind of get the picture there. In Chinese culture, the snake is the most enigmatic animal among the 12 animals. People born in a year of the snake, so this isn't really connected to me, but people born within a year of the snake are supposed to be the most intuitive. Snakes tend to act according to their own judgments while remaining private and reticent. I would have to double check the meaning of reticent. It's not a word I frequently use in my everyday vernacular, but I relate to that. I act according to my own judgments, but still also try to sort of remain private, as well as respecting other people's privacy. So, like, if I've got an issue on my mind that's actually someone else stressing about something that they're dealing with, I'm not going to then turn around and, while offloading to one of my friends and sort of de-stressing myself, I'm not going to then turn around and talk about that entire issue to someone else who's not involved in the situation. So yeah, privacy is sort of it's not really a thing you want to sort of breach, I guess. If you're the kind of person that's going to turn around and talk about someone else's issues to someone that doesn't know them and paint this horrible picture of this other person, then you're the horrible person in that. That's where I stand on that particular issue. Snakes represent the symbol of wisdom. which is kind of cool. They are good at communication, but say little. I think my friends would disagree with you there. But then again, that's also when I'm talking about stuff that I'm particularly passionate about. And obviously, when I'm making a YouTube video, I kind of have to talk a lot as well to keep things interesting. Where I go? Snakes are usually regarded as great thinkers, and it is because of that and my apparent wisdom that my close friends usually come to me for advice on issues. Whether they take that advice or not is completely up to them, however much it bugs me that they don't. But they usually come to me to sort of get a second opinion on something. And yeah, usually I try to take in as much information as I can to build a strong basis on which to build my sort of opinion to then give them the best advice I can. Snake people prefer to work alone, therefore they are easily stressed. I like that it says easily stressed, because to me stress and frustration are much closer together than frustration and anger. And I'm not easily angered, like not truly. I might sort of snap in frustration, but to actually properly get me angry, you've got to like offend me at my core. And for the most part, that means, you know, like absolutely causing my friends to hate your guts 100%. That's when I'll become properly angry. Like if you're doing some shady shit to my friends, God help you, sir. But yeah, easily stressed, yeah, absolutely. For me personally, I have a feeling that also comes sort of hand in hand with my depression and anxiety, and the fact that those two mental illnesses are basically the opposite of each other, like they're the yin-yang of mental illnesses. Basically everyone experiences them at some point in their lives, and it is horrible to deal with both at the same time, and so that can sort of cause a lot of stress. I'm my own worst critic. If I stuff up, I will beat myself up harder than anyone else possibly could. And so yeah, I get easily stressed. Also, I think the whole battle of am I patient or impatient sort of thing that I've sort of discovered exists throughout these 4 videos, I think that might also play a key role. Anyway, we'll move on to the last part of this video, which are the prospects for people born under the snake. And so since I was born under the snake as far as the time and date goes, these should hopefully be the most accurate prospects that any of these have given me. So, career prospects in 2019. Snakes won't easily get a career promotion in 2019. The first half of the year will be a tough time for snakes, but their prospects should improve in the second half. Well, we are now in end of May, which is the 5th month, so end of next month I'm going on my little holiday thing, so after I come back from that, hopefully my prospects will start improving as far as work is concerned, which is good. Maybe this year I will actually be able to succeed in getting some sort of promotion going. Although it's not a good year to get a promotion, it will be an easier year with a chance for snakes to improve their skills and achieve more. I kind of feel like that's the case. It might not be the work that I'm getting paid to do, but I am achieving a lot more as far as my creative projects go that I'm working on at the moment. So we will agree there. Snakes don't have very good health prospects for 2019. There could be hidden problems with their respiratory system. To obtain a healthier and stronger body, they are recommended to train in a fitness center. The irony of the fact that it says that I need to go to a gym in order to obtain a healthier and stronger body is not lost on me one bit, because the week before I had my first sort of seizure, I signed up to a gym and paid like to go to the gym, and like all its little benefits and stuff ended up costing me like $180, and I'd spent another $200 or something on getting this workout program that I was going to work to, which also included like a meal plan of sorts, and yeah, all this other stuff. Basically $400, and then I go and have and then, you know, I have a seizure, and suddenly I'm not able to drive to the gym anymore. So that's been a lovely little thing that I've had to sort of wrestle with. And then with the workout program, with not being able to go and use the equipment at the gym like I was planning to, I sort of slowly stopped doing the workout program. So I kind of need to get back into doing that. But you guys will hear a lot more about that in my resolution update video at the end of the month. So we will continue moving on. Finances in 2019. It's not a good year for snakes in 2019 regarding finances. They will have a lot of legwork with their investments to get ahead. Have to do a lot of legwork with their investments to get ahead. I'm relating to that right now really strongly. I'm trying to save as much money as I can for my Sydney trip, which is literally like 4 weeks away. And at the moment, I've got enough money to go hang out with my friend. This coming weekend, we're going to go and watch John Wick 3. Yeah. So over the next 4 weeks, I really have to like limit what I'm spending money on so that I have money to spend when I go to Sydney. Because otherwise I'm going to go to Sydney and there's going to be 5/8 of nothing that I can actually do. So that's going to be fun. Yeah. We'll then move on to love and relationships in 2019. It's not a good year for male snakes. Obviously, I haven't included the female here because I'm now realizing that this is a mistake, as there are potentially females born under the snake that could have used some information. I will again leave the links to all the sites that I used down below. You can go and check these out for yourself. I think one of them even has like a compatibility thing, so you can sort of, anyway, it's not a good year for male snakes as they will encounter many competitors. Certainly hoping not, because I kind of have my heart, I guess, set on a particular person right now, and yeah, we'll leave it at that. That's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscription button and the notification bell so that you are alerted when I upload a new video. You can check all my socials in the description down below. And until next time, guys, good night to A2, and I'll check you later.